Good morning.
Good morning.
What is today, Heather? Wednesday?
Today is Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. It's July 29th. Just waiting for you guys to join. I have a guest today. I am going to introduce her, I promise. I just want to wait for you guys to join in. So send me a little hello as you show up. I see you up there on Instagram. Good morning. So I hope you guys had a great day. First of all, I want to thank all of you for your support and your questions yesterday. I know it was a little bit more of a raw topic, but one that I fully believe in and one that I felt went really well, and I loved your interaction. So thank you so much. Good morning, Robert. How are you? Good morning up there on Instagram. Good morning, Kathy. Nice to see you all. So I have a guest, a beautiful guest sitting next to me. And good morning, Carrie. Nice to see you. Good morning. So I have a beautiful guest here next to me. Her name is Heather Lewis, and she is the owner of Maximum Pilates. And this is a woman that not only is a dear friend of mine that I respect and love and is so kind, but keeps me in shape. Don't you?
Yes.
She pushes me sometimes a little bit too far. But we want to talk about Pilates today. Now, what a weird topic, right? Why would we talk about Pilates? Pilates does so much more than simply keep you fit. Pilates has a huge role in not only developing your muscles, your posture, but also mind-body connection, accessing the parasympathetic nervous system, relieving stress, anxiety, all sorts of stuff. And I couldn't think, a lot of people on Instagram are with you there. Lots of hearts up there. All right. Yeah. Hey, I just thought this was an area and a topic that a lot of people don't understand and don't understand the benefit to their health. And I have seen such great benefit that I wanted to bring on the one person that I knew could educate us at the level that you guys are accustomed to. And this is Heather Lewis.
Hi. Nice to be here. So excited to talk about my passion.
Yeah, it's so exciting. You know, it's funny, and I love questions. You guys know that. Send them through. What's her name again? Heather Lewis, MaximumPilates.com, right?
MaximumPilates.com.
And she's here in Phoenix, Arizona. And you guys definitely send the questions. We'll do our best. Once again, kind of like when I have a guest, my poor Instagram camera up there, we're like, every so often have to move together. Facebook's got it. But so one of the things, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the things that I hear the most is that Pilates can only be done by somebody who looks like a ballerina or that can hang upside down and do gymnastics. And I have found that to be the farthest from the truth.
Absolutely.
So what is your, do you have a typical client, or what are your thoughts on that? What do you tell people?
All across the board. I love working with people who already have an athletic base to their body training, but I also have clients that cannot even get down and up from the floor.
Yeah.
So the equipment itself supports whatever level the client needs to be at. We work with springs first before we add any weight. So there's a nice constant pressure on the muscular skeletal system. It increases bone density and elongates the muscle, balances out the muscular partnership between, say, like an antagonistic muscle and the synergist. So it creates balance. It enhances whatever body silhouette is already there. It's not going to change your body, but it is going to change choices that you make. And
we got to talk about all that.
It'll also teach you proper mechanics no matter what you do.
Yeah, there are people in my class that are of all different sizes and all different ages. I think in my class, I'm probably the youngest. Which is crazy. I walked in there the first time and I was like, oh my gosh, these women, they're like, they're amazing.
I have clients that are just absolutely impressive. They don't even know how impressive they are. I always tell them sometimes my best present is coming to work and watching them move.
Oh, yeah.
And when everybody's in the zone, the machines get really quiet and it gives
you chills.
Yeah.
That's because you're so passionate. I love that passion. And, from my understanding, and I'm certainly not an expert in Pilates, just a practitioner, is that we're basically supporting what our body is naturally meant to do and the way that we're naturally supposed to move. And what I see, you like a hyper Trish. So Carrie's giving us a hard time. So we know Carrie, and let me say, Carrie, you are very good at Pilates, and you are a stellar, you are amazing, you're an inspiration.
An amazing
and you should actually be here in our live today.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that Pilates supports our normal function, and I think so many people go out and exercise and they get injured because they're not supporting the natural way that our body is held together. And there's been a lot of myths. People say, oh, well, it's working on just abdominals, or it's just working on the core, or you have to be a ballerina to do it. And I find that what it's really doing, like you were saying, is reconnecting that the way that your body moves, plus a mind-body connection, being aware of how your body moves, even particular how you breathe.
Yep, it's mindful motion.
Yeah.
And getting on a treadmill and watching TV is not mindful movement.
You're exactly right. How many of you do that? Watch TV while you exercise. Come on.
Well, it's boring. Being on the treadmill is boring. We have to do something, right? But when you're in the zone in Pilates, the time flies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once you drop in, it's a timeless moment. It is a dialogue that you're trying to create internally. You're asking your body to do things very specifically, so you have to really pull in a little bit.
Yeah, and that takes focus.
Yeah, it does.
So I'm 67. Is it too late for me?
No,
absolutely
it
not.
It is a gentle and wonderful way to strengthen, and you should be doing it at 67.
Absolutely.
Do that instead of go running. Right?
Right, because it helps support the joints. I've had a lot of questions in the past couple of weeks about osteoporosis and about how to protect your bones. Should you take medications? And I've always said, well, we need to do weight-bearing exercise. And Pilates is one of those great ways to do it without promoting a lot of injury.
Absolutely.
You know what I want to ask you about, though, because I talk a lot to these fine folks out here about sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, about how we're always in this fight or flight, and how health and prevention of disease comes from calming the body, right? And finding ways to access the parasympathetic nervous system. And I have many people ask me how, right, guys? They're like, how do I do this? Are there exercises to do this? And I thought you had a really awesome example. Rachel, I see your question. Bear with me, hon. We'll come back to it, okay? You had this great example about what happens when we're first born, and how we start accessing the parasympathetic nervous system from the moment we're born, and then how we lose that ability. Would you mind sharing that? I think it's so fascinating. It's so cool.
So when the little baby's born, one of the first actions, muscular action and coordination that is inherent to life, is sucking, right? So pulling that, it's a muscular action where you pull into the body your nutrients, your air, your everything that you need. You have to develop that because you're no longer getting it through the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
So that sucking action, again, we were talking, pulls right into that vagus nerve. It opens the lungs. It gives you the ability to speak. That action, if you don't practice it, can be lost. So just in the way we set up the exercises in Pilates, bringing the head and shoulders up, activating that back neck extension right away. You're toning that whole set of muscles that just
help you breathe.
Yeah.
Right? Because how many of you find yourself not breathing throughout a day? I do. I know I get excited and hyper and I forget to breathe, I do. And the one surprise that I've had from Pilates, now you guys know I've always danced, I've always leaned towards exercises like this. However, the one thing that I didn't expect that I have really learned from you and from just practicing this discipline is my ability to now breathe, for me to be in the moment, to be in the now, to forget about all the crap going on around us in that moment, and then also learning which muscles are there to hold me upright, to help me walk correctly. I used to have hip pain. I used to have back pain. Do you remember?
Yes,
I used to come in and my I would have a hard time doing certain things with my legs because my hip would pop or it would hurt, or like every so often a rib pops out of alignment and she's like adjusting my movement to help me out. those are things that happened all the time from stress. I guarantee you guys, they weren't from me doing the wrong thing or moving the wrong thing necessarily. They were from stress and me not releasing that energy
that gets trapped. It happens a lot. I'll have clients come in and we'll be working together, and I'll say, remember when you first came in and you couldn't do this? Or remember when you first came in, you couldn't lay flat on your back without this huge amount of discomfort? So we take it very slowly and we work through those places. We learn how to move, and sometimes you just have to, it's not that complicated, but you have to stop and do it. It is about being in the present moment.
Totally. Absolutely. Do you guys know what Pilates is?
It's such a hard question.
I always say you can never master it.
No.
I mean, there's always a growth, like she said, some people can't even get up off the floor when they first arrive. So their first goal is to get up off the floor. Mm-hmm. And then from there, their next job is to lift their head. And then, little progressions. And I even look at you, who's obviously incredible at it, and you're still pushing yourself to the next level. And I look at all the muscles that I've started to activate. I have a comment up there, learning all the muscles I was not aware of.
Yes.
You would be surprised. I also have a question. Is it like yoga? Not really, right?
There are some basic similar concepts, I think, underlying, but no, it's not. I don't think so. There are definitely crossovers. Joseph Pilates was extremely sensitive about that. Of course, he wanted to think that the Pilates came first, but yoga has been around for 4,000 years. The things that we were talking about on the arc, with, the minor inversion of your pelvis being higher than your heart.
Let me tell them what that is before you explain it, because it's too cool. So we've done this week, we've used something called an arc. The nice thing I like about Pilates is there's lots of tools. We can use reformers, we can use a ball, we can use a ring. I call it the ring of death. She calls it the magic circle.
Magic.
I don't know, one of the two. Magic wand. There's all sorts of things. But one of the things is an arc. And it basically, you guys may have seen these in little mini inversion tables where it's like curved like an arc and you lay over the back of it, right? So that your head is below your hips.
Pelvis is elevated. Higher than the heart.
So you can kind of imagine it like a supported bridge, I guess, is kind of a way to look at it. Well, what's interesting is a couple of us this last week, we were working on the arc, and we did these exercises, and afterwards we were all just like, I mean, I swear, I could have taken a nap, guys, but she made me keep going. And she was like, Trisha, get up, let's go. But I mean, I was so relaxed. And so the other lady in the class, and I asked, why is this? Why does this happen? Mm-hmm. And your answer was incredible. Would you share it?
Okay, so when you're elevated you have to be there for 5 to 8 minutes, I think, to really feel the benefits. And then you release the inversion. So your hips are up, then you remove the arc, you roll down. Now the spine is flat again. What you've done in that upside down place is totally swish around all your cerebral spinal fluids. All through the brain, all the meninges and stuff just got kind of washing machined out. They got a little, I don't know.
Agitated.
A little mixed up.
Yeah.
So when you settle back down, all the fluid has just kind of reorganized. And there's something very soothing about that, detoxifying. It balances out where the fluids need to be. And that's your nervous system. So
and that's how that's a way that we can access parasympathetic activity. There's a lot of times if you're trying to go to sleep, you can lay on the floor and do a bridge, hold yourself, kind of upside down. That's a starting point, I would imagine, or using a ball underneath your hips just to kind of elevate. As you get more advanced, obviously you go more and more upside down. We do moves on the reformer where we're fully in basically in a headstand. But Carrie, I'm not going to have Heather demonstrate a move today, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it took us like 15 minutes to set up the Instagram camera so that we could see us both. So we'll have to do that on a different day. You know what? If you guys would love it, I think I should go to the Pilates studio with my live and do a little session and teach you guys some
and
stuff.
we can bring Carrie in.
And we'll bring
Courtney,
Carrie in.
And we'll let them work, and we'll talk you through what's going on.
Yes.
That might be a really good way to answer the question, what is Pilates?
That's very true, because it is. It's a wide variety of things. People are saying yes, for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
You guys are welcome to come to my studio. That would be fun.
It's a lot of fun. We did, on the article at drpingel.com, we do have a roll-up demonstrated, which is, it seems simple. It's not, where you roll down and roll back up and roll down and go back up.
It's simple. I've been doing it for probably 20 years, but just last week I learned a whole new trick. I found a whole different way to anchor my pelvis. So I'm just telling you, your body teaches you. If you drop in, you will learn so much from your body. What were we talking about before about the body journaling?
Oh, yes. I always recommend journaling for like to just kind of help with stress release. Heather, body journals.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of that?
You need to start, if you write down a little bit about what happened in your workout today, what did you learn? Anything new? Was it hard? Was it easy? Did it trigger any emotional responses? I don't know, just the weirdest little things. Once you sit down with your words, I feel like there's so much to be learned from the body.
Yeah.
It teaches us much more than we teach it.
That's true. Because our body has the innate ability to heal. I mean, when we talk about health, we talk about, immune system, keeping your immune system healthy, keeping your body in a repair state. You have to be able to access your body's innate ability to heal. And I do feel that Pilates really lends itself to that. Absolutely. I mean, so does yoga in many ways, but you know what?
I love my yoga practice.
But I do see a lot of people who do this hot power yoga and stress their bodies beyond, they're missing the point. If you can combine it in the right way and you're learning how to access that core and those breathing muscles correctly, it can be incredibly beneficial. But I've seen a lot of people not do it right. You guys agree? Body journaling. I'm just hearing this. Yes. Awesome, Courtney. And Bridget, same thing. Awesome idea. I think that's an incredible idea. And, I wish that I would have been doing it.
Well, we can all start.
Let's all start. I mean,
we'll all start. I have gotten off of that habit myself. It really informs my teaching.
Yeah.
If I actually write down what's going on in my practice, it really helps me teach. I feel like if you guys start writing down what's going on, it'll help you be a better parent. It'll help you kind of transfer that information into the real world.
Yeah. And you had said emotional release as well. And I don't think we really, I will talk about Heather's extensive education. Hang tight there. I'm coming right back to you. Good point. One of the things you mentioned, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, is you said emotional release. And I do think a lot of people get an emotional release. And I think that's a really important thing, because if you're releasing that stress out of your body, you're healing. And so using movement to heal, I think is incredible. I think that's a great option.
I feel like sometimes, without even being aware of it, our muscles hold energy. So we create these thought patterns, or we have some kind of emotion or grief or anxiety, angst, whatever. It gets stored in the muscles, right?
Yeah.
It gets held. And so you have to go through and
release
physically give your muscles something else to do, work through it, and let that energy go. Sometimes in practice, I really work hard on the arms being straight and the fingers being long. So
you do. You give me a hard time about that.
Yeah. Sometimes I get people and they want to exercise like this. I'm like, no, that's not. You're holding it in. You got to let this stuff. You are replacing the energy in your muscles. That's part of your work here. It's a detox.
And I do have a couple questions for you and a few more, but we did have a question about your experience. And I do think, how the heck did you get started in this? You were quite a story. Are you able to tell it without going on for like 4 hours?
No, it's just, I can't tell a story. I'm the worst storyteller. I will tell you this. I came through a dance background.
Ballerina.
All kinds of dance. I was working in my graduate studies just here at ASU teaching dance, and I started having a really bad chronic foot issue that kind of kept flaring up. And I went to the doctor, and he said, well, we can fix that with surgery, but you might not be able to dance again. So, of course, off the table.
Right.
Because I was teaching, dancing, performing. It just couldn't happen.
Mhm.
So I started my own research, found Pilates, really liked it for a lot of reasons. Just the careful movement through the foot. Again, mindfully replacing my chronic issues with something new.
Yeah.
Moving differently. And within 2 months, I found myself turning on that foot. I had taken all the turns on my right foot out and did everything on my left foot.
Wow.
So I had to modify. And teaching a class, and we were trying to figure out the other side, and I helped my students, and I did a turn on my right foot, and I was like,
Oh
not
my
supposed
gosh.
to do that, not supposed to do that, and it felt great. And so in my mind, I felt like this healing process is something that everybody needs to know.
Oh, of course.
You know, like
Yeah.
people need to know this. At any level, you can heal yourself to a point, you know,
Yeah.
given, I mean, a great surgeon is definitely the artist, but I didn't have to have surgery.
Oh, that's awesome. And look at what you can do now.
Mhm.
You're back to dancing? You still dance?
I do. I haven't danced since the COVID thing.
Oh.
So I miss it a lot.
I went back to hip hop last week and
Oh, you did.
I'm so happy. You're going to join me sometime.
I will.
Okay.
I look like a giraffe.
But yeah, it's amazing how the body can heal itself.
Yes,
And I think
yes.
stories like that, I think that was a great story. You were a great storyteller, right, guys? That was great. That was very inspirational.
That was the short version.
Well, and I think there's a lot of people out there that have injuries and they say, well, I have a bum shoulder, I can't do Pilates. Or, I mean, we know people who had shoulder surgery, a year ago, Carrie? I'm going to call you out. Who is doing planks and doing full
Carrie.
Pilates movements.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm sure that her surgeon wasn't like, hey, you can get back to this. Was probably like, probably not going to be able to do this anymore. So there are some amazing things and amazing healing. There was a question talking about breathing and deep stomach muscles. Laura, you knew where I was going to go, didn't you? I know we talk a lot about transverse abdominal muscles and and all the different muscles involved in breath, you know, and I think that's a fascinating topic. If we could figure out what do you want to say about that?
I always tell my clients that exhalation is the best abdominal work you can do. Really exhale more than you think you can. Keep exhaling, right? It's a contraction. Sorry.
Yep, that's okay.
And that's how you tone that. You have to practice it. Exhale more than you think you can. Don't be afraid to be empty.
Mm-hmm. That's true, because a lot of times you exhale and you stop exhaling before it's empty, and then you have a shallow inhalation.
More.
Yeah.
Exhale is the action. Inhale is a release.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start approaching your breath that way, it'll change your pH balance in your body. It really does. It'll change your mood. My son does this crazy practice where they work really hard to hold their breath. You know, there's a whole study on that, where how you breathe to control your immune system.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The Iceman.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of the Iceman?
Yeah, some cool studies about that,
It's
about
really
the holding breath and then
amazing.
releasing it.
Mm-hmm.
And do you find that your clientele tend to be generally healthy? Like, I don't
We-
see, we're always there. I don't
Everybody
ever
is.
see people out
Mhm.
sick. And I do wonder, you know,
No.
there's a lot of research on that, on breath and
Mhm.
calming the stress response and how that impacts the immune system. And so I think that is a really good point about how Pilates can benefit you outside of just toning muscles.
The other thing we do is so much flexion and extension, and then as you get more advanced, lateral flexion, rotation, hyperextension, working the spine and compressing the body so that you hit those lymphatic drainage points.
Yep.
And you're constantly massaging all the organs that create your immunity.
Yep.
Constantly. You're squeezing it out, it out.
I mean, that's what the
Detoxifying.
lymphatic system is, right? It's like if you were squeezing stuff through a balloon, you know, it's like you're moving that lymph through the body to remove toxins. So if you're not moving, you're not removing toxins.
Yeah.
And this is kind of off the point of Pilates, I guess, in some respect, but a lot of you ask me about detoxing the liver and you ask me about colon cleanses and stuff. And I always say there's more to it than that. You can take herbs, you can change your diet, you can do all these things to change what the liver is doing, but the bottom line is you have to get the toxins out.
Mm-hmm.
And just going through the colon, all the stuff that's released from the colon has to come from the lymphatic system.
Sure.
So if you're not moving and you're not exercising those muscles and moving your spine and moving all those fluids through, it's not going to come out.
We have an exercise at the studio called stomach massage.
Yes, I find it funny that
Or
you
we,
call it that.
I know, everybody does. Or we have short spine massage. We have long spine massage. And my clients are, where's the massage? Like, this is not a massage. This is torture. But the massage is happening because you are using your breath to squeeze, to compress the body into different shapes, to go upside down, to go inside out, to flex and extend while turning sideways and upside down.
Yep.
You got to get all those planes of motion working out once to really squeeze out the toxins.
Yeah, and that's really detoxifying, right? I mean, it's pretty crazy.
It is.
Isn't that amazing? I got a lot of hearts up there on Instagram.
Oh, good.
I haven't seen a ton of questions. Let me scroll and see if there's any. Well, I saw Courtney. I think we're good here. Okay.
Courtney's here.
I think so.
Hi, Courtney.
Courtney. I actually have, I'm going to bring Courtney on as an interview as well. She's a very inspirational story.
I love Courtney.
But I think, can you make me a pretzel? She probably could. I don't know.
Sure, we can practice.
She's a very inspirational story of somebody that is doing an entire life change and where Pilates is playing a huge role. So we're going to bring her on. So Courtney, cheers to you. And Carrie, we love you as well. Good job with your shoulder. We're very proud of you. I'm teleworking now, like to work on breathing. Yeah, the other thing is Pilates is something you can do from home. You don't have to go to a studio. There's lots of there's mat Pilates.
Sure.
There's not only reformer Pilates. Now, what is a reformer? Everyone's like, I will tell you, if you want to see what one looks like, they're in the background. If you go to drpingel.com and you look at the Pilates article, we have a video at the bottom doing some roll-ups, and there's some reformers in the back. But essentially, it's a bunch of it's a bunch of springs and pulleys, basically, that help balance you. An example of correct breathing, please.
That's such a complicated story. I mean, yeah. Well, if you
Let's give it a go.
let's sit really tall, right? Really tall. And then when you breathe, you should breathe in enough. Start low. Breathe in. And then keep breathing and fill all the way the space under your collarbone. Stay open. All the space behind you into your shoulder blades. Kind of, shoulders down and wide. And then exhale. And when you exhale, squeeze your ribs together. Squeeze your waist a little bit more narrow. And pull what I call the lower triangle in. Hollow in. So you can keep squeezing.
I'm squeezing. I gotta breathe.
And then let go.
And so what's cool about that is when you really, I don't know if you guys can see, maybe on Instagram, when you squeeze that rib cage in, like you really exhale to a point to where those muscles around your ribs contract in. You have no choice but to inhale when you're empty. You have no choice. It's an automatic reflex.
You just open up.
It's like your
lungs will fill.
Right, you have to, and I think if you really can tap into those abdominal muscles, that's what happens, and that's how we breathe. How many of us breathe like this?
You can direct the breath all the way down into the lower back.
What's your camera?
Sorry.
That's okay.
You can direct your breath to the low back, to the low floating ribs. Right, you can send your breath wherever you want.
It's true.
I've even had dancers in my life who have healed their little nagging injuries by sending the breath into the injury.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a whole nother set of directives on that.
Yep.
It's
oxygen heals. I mean, that's our body knows how to heal, guys, right? It knows how. I'm not going to have her stand up just because our camera. It's you guys get it. You guys get it. You're going to look for a Pilates practitioner, and I am encouraging Heather to go to her Facebook page and Instagram page and start doing some videos of how to breathe.
I'm going to go record all that. She's helping me. She's a good mentor.
I'm going to go record her sometime.
But you guys, I do Zoom classes out of the studio Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. We do a full mat class on Zoom. I have some great clients that can only see me via Zoom.
Yeah. Right.
And so that's really kind of spurred a whole nother level of business. My best friend in Michigan, Kara, I love you. She can take my Zoom class. It's opened up a lot of possibilities.
For a lot of people.
Yeah, you can sign up for the class and take it later. I can forward you the embedded password. You can take that Zoom class for several days afterwards. It's a great way to kind of get introduced to some of these basic concepts. It will kick your ass.
Well, people are asking for your handles, and I know the Instagram one's kind of a little bit different. And I will, when I repost
it's Maximum Pilates.
Yeah,
Courtney knows my handle.
When I put this up on IGTV, guys, I'll put it in the comments, and I will put it on Facebook. On Facebook, it's Maximum Pilates. Your website is MaximumPilates.com, and that's where they could go and sign up. Do they call you, or is there a place? Because I know you
just, if you can email me through the
website.
Facebook. Yeah,
through Facebook.
Yeah, and the website, either one, and it goes right to my personal email. It's a small studio; it's just me, and then I will take that information and reach out to you. We'd love to have your company in the studio at any level. If you can't be there in person, try a Zoom class.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And I know we've been talking for a while, and we're probably all getting exhausted, but I did want to ask you about a couple other things.
Okay.
Are you guys cool with that? Are you guys hanging with me? Are you finding this interesting? Because there's a couple of things that I find really cool. And we can go fast, but when I asked you for the article, which, by the way, the Pilates article at drpingel.com, it's an interview with Heather, who answered some amazing questions. And one of the questions that I had asked her were what some of the evolutions were that she saw with with clients. And, of course, she's seen changes in diet. She's seen changes in body composition, awareness of mind, body, and proprioception, mechanics, better organ function, improved digestion, better breath awareness, better ability to manage stress. But listen to this one, better hydration.
Mm-hmm.
She sees better hydration from people with plastic.
I think we talk about it a lot. When you're going into compression in the body, the body's a little bit like a sponge. It's full of fluid. So if you're going to compress, say you do lateral flexion over to the right, compress, squeeze it out like a sponge, and then when you open it back up, it pulls fresh fluid in. So again, you are now regenerating. You're creating a need for more clean hydration.
Yeah. And also a lot, like all the people that have swelling or retain water and things like that. It all, it drains out all the junk. It
gets rid of the toxins and you just get really, really thirsty. We've all in Arizona had to add some form of fruit or electrolytes, Pedialyte.
It's hot out there today.
I've been eating watermelon as much as I can, just something besides water. Hydration is key to the body. You've talked to me about this. How many percentage of the time is it a headache or a stomach ache that's caused by dehydration?
A lot of the time,
and we just aren't even aware that we're not getting enough.
That's true. At maximum_Pilates for Instagram. And then on Facebook, I believe it's Maximum Pilates, right? At Maximum Pilates. So there was also this idea, I know that you talk about the feet a lot and how we when we're standing, guys, what are we standing on? Our feet, right? So if you're not standing on your feet right, what happens? Your knees hurt, your hips hurt, your back hurts, you get out of alignment, you get injuries, those types of things. And we spend a lot of time with little tiny movements. People are like, well, what do you do in Pilates? It looks like you're only doing like 5 of something and you're like barely moving your feet. But just that little, there's been times my feet have been on the reformer like this, and she comes along and just kind of moves them. And I'm like, holy wow, I just accessed a muscle I never accessed before. But contact points on the feet and reflexology are huge. Yeah.
First of all, it's your relationship to the earth.
That's true.
So you can see a lot of patterns as you look how people manage their feet, where they move, where they don't move. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And it also, all those reflexology points match the rest of your spine, the rest of your body. So you can access those nerve patterns just through the foot. And it's a trickle up. It's a trickle up. It's such an amazing fix.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
Yes, it's fun.
And before I let you go teach people Pilates, I want to talk to you about what's called the Pilates Angel. Have you guys ever heard about the Pilates Angel? Probably not. I hadn't. But I think it's a nice point to touch on.
Yes,
as a
we
sign
talk.
off on the things that we do throughout the day. And the Pilates Angel certainly sits on my shoulder now that I've practiced with you
Yes.
for so many years,
We
where
talk
they
about-
definitely
yeah.
didn't before.
We talk about the Pilates Angel. She's real. And she lives on your shoulder after you come for a while and you start to understand how these cues really are subtly life-changing, subtle and profound change, I say. So she calls you out. She'll say, shoulders down.
Kind of like Jiminy Cricket.
Yes, very much like a Jiminy Cricket. Shoulders down, pull those ribs back.
Yep.
Belly button in. Where are your sitting bones? Where's your big toe knuckle? All these things.
Yeah, like you're doing dishes and you find yourself slouching, and it's like all of a sudden your body just naturally says, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be up here.
Good. This is a better choice for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're constantly teaching yourself. So I always tell people, you don't come to Pilates just for a workout. You come for an education. You take that with you every time you do something physical.
Yep.
You teach yourself.
Yep.
And that's why I feel like the effects of this practice are so cumulative.
Yeah.
Because it's between the ears.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just a workout.
Absolutely. And I'm so blessed to have found you and to have you guiding me in this whole process. I'm trying to think how long I've been doing Pilates with you specifically. A few years. And I did do Pilates before that with another amazing practitioner who hopefully she will watch this. I miss you. I love you. You're wonderful. You got me going on this train. And then Heather has taken me to the next level. And I still am amazed at myself sometimes when I come out of Pilates class and I'm like, wow, did I just do that? Like I couldn't do that 3 months ago. I couldn't do that 6 months ago.
Very empowering. Those little tiny skill sets.
Very empowering. So you guys have been awesome. It looks like you really enjoyed this topic. I was so happy to have my friend here today. She's so lovely. She's so wonderful. For those of you that are interested in Pilates, please check her out. Please follow her. I'll try to get her to give some more sample moves on social media, or I'll definitely see if I can do
better. I'm not very good at it. I'm learning.
It's, you know what? It totally takes, social media alone takes time.
Yeah.
But I will maybe come to you in the studio. You can show some moves.
Yes.
I think that would be a lot of fun. For those of you that are interested in Zoom classes, she offers them. And it's an amazing practice. And I talk to you guys all the time about accessing the parasympathetic nervous system, calming the body, communicating the mind and body. My book's about that, my program's about that. You know, most of my lives bring that in, and a lot of you ask for resources.
They all know your book, right?
I hope so. You guys know my book.
I just got a signed copy today. I'm so happy. It's a great treasure.
It's my pleasure. I'm so glad that you're here. And so you guys, this is another way, another outlet, another thing to learn about things that you can do to benefit your health. So thank you so much for being here. I do have kind of a fun plan for tomorrow, but it involves my kids, and they're dying to go somewhere tomorrow, so I might have to switch it up. So we'll see. And then on Friday, I have a pretty amazing topic. So stick around. I'll be here every day, my usual time, 9:15. Heather Lewis, MaximumPilates.com. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, honey.
Love to all of you. Have a great day. Of course, I paused during the whole